Hold on to your seats. It's the electrifying Justin Newton Show, featuring Motlow State head basketball coach Justin Newton himself. Buckle up, because now with the coach, here's Jay Harper.
Hey there, welcome on in. I'm Jay Harper, along with the head coach of Motlow State men's basketball. That would be first-year head coach Justin Newton. Justin, man, we finally get to sit down. It's been such a crazy year. I mean, your debut season. We've been in the throes of TCCAA competition. I'm sure it's been a wild ride for you thus far.
Oh, yeah. When you get in this part of the season, especially with coming into a new job, uprooting your family, there's so much. It hadn't stopped since we moved here, and it's been a lot of fun, but it's been a transition for sure. So I'm finally glad to sit down and get to talk with you.
Yeah, same here. Now, again, a lot of folks are certainly familiar with you by now, but while you went to school in the Chattanooga area, I believe, for college, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a Georgia boy. So tell us a little bit about from where you hail, I guess we could say.
Yeah, I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia, or more specifically North Augusta, South Carolina, on the other side of the river there. I played for my dad in high school. Him and my mom coached at a little private high school. They still serve at that church. Went to college at Tennessee Temple University over in Chattanooga for Randy Lee, and then I've just made a lot of stops along the way. Coached in junior college. My first job was with Corey Baldwin over at South Georgia State, and been at the D2 NAI level, as a JUCO head coach, NAI head coach. So I've been around a few stops, but my roots are in Georgia. But I've worked at Lee University in Tennessee, went to school in Chattanooga, at Tennessee Temple. So second home for sure, and hopefully my new home for a while.
Well, I know you've certainly ingratiated yourself with the school, with the program. So, yeah, I know it's been a wild ride for you. Let's get into what you faced when you came into the program. Did you enter the program in the middle of recruiting season, or how did that play out when you arrived?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was in the meat of recruiting season. You'd like to get things a little earlier, but I was very fortunate. We've got a great AD here, Coach Ross Fanning, who has basketball roots himself,
sure,
who took over at the end of the season last year, and then Coach Nick Porter, who's been here on and off 7 years. They both did a really good job, creating some foundation in the Tennessee high school roots. But I was able to step in with not a completely depleted roster, but also was able to add quite a few older guys into the mix along with those guys. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, we had some work to do when we got here, but I feel like we've gotten, we've had a good start here because we did have a good foundation, to build off of that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, at least from what I've been able to witness. Granted, you've only got a handful of sophomores, but I noticed that, and we'll get into some of the specific players as well, but I've noticed that there are a good number of young men from Georgia. Would that happen to be a coincidence, or was that a real effort on your part?
Yeah, I mean, you recruit what you're good at. I mean, if you're going to be good in the Tennessee Junior College League, you've got to recruit the state, and we want to recruit locally and things like that. But I'll be the first, no pun intended, to tell you I'm very green at this area. So I'm still learning and all that. But my roots hail from Georgia. I could tell you every high school backwards and forwards along, I-75 or inside 285, and what coaches are there, and junior colleges and the Division I, Division II programs that I'm able to have contacts with. So that's definitely my roots. So, yeah, that's not by accident, and not that I specifically went out like we're always going to have 5 Georgia guys on there, but that's
right.
Just what I know and what I can bring to the table to kind of cast our wide net as a program.
When it comes to recruiting, and I ask coaches this all the time, are you out there looking for the best athletes, or are you looking for the athletes that you feel will be most conducive to your style of play?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think anybody that tells you like talent doesn't matter, absolutely not. But how you view that talent, it's not necessarily we don't want just the best players. We want really talented players that can fill a job. There are a bunch of jobs out there besides scoring. We play fast, and we want to really get after people on the defensive end. So, to be somebody that cares and is a good teammate on the other end of the floor, and will be able to play in that way, I think matters a little bit more than just their sheer basketball ability, although it does matter. And then we want to recruit from good programs, from places that we know they've been coached or held accountable, because I do think, everybody talks about that buzzword culture, culture is really important. But it's not a bunch of signs on the wall. It's the people in your program and the habits that you have daily. So the further along they are in understanding how important culture is, I think the better off you are as a program. So, talent matters, but we want them to fit into, our pillars of what we hold true here.
And, of course, attitude and being just good young men
exactly.
is critical. I mean, You don't need that poison in your locker room.
No, and we want to make sure they're good. We have 3 pillars here: compete, together, discipline. They're really, really simple, but when we bring people in, we make sure that they align with those things, because it's more about, it's not baseball, it's not golf or tennis. We have to do what's in the best interest of the group. So we want to make sure that when they don this logo right here, that it means something to them and that they're going to represent us in those ways. So.
Well, as we sit here on this date, you have just come away with a solid victory, a close game in many ways, but a solid victory against Cleveland State. Coach Raphael Howard, Caleb Coleman, they're kind of in the same boat as you. While they have been at Cleveland State for a while, they've got a young team. I mean, they've only got 2 sophomores on their squad. But you had a good, solid victory over them last night. Now, whenever you play a team, and I made this comment during the call of the game last night, you guys play a similar style, and you were very evenly matched. But whenever you play a team that is, I won't say a carbon copy of you, but very similar to your style, I mean, how does that challenge you as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, an oversimplification is players win games, man. Like coaches get a little bit too much credit sometimes.
Too much blame.
And can get too much blame. But, we just focus on being the best versions of what we do and how, like, styles win fights. We want to play our style. And if it's similar, we need to own those really boring stats. Are we going to rebound it better? Do we want it more? Are we going to make more free throws? Are we going to make less mistakes than the other team does? And then you need your players to perform. And we were very fortunate. We had a few guys that really stepped up, both on the stat sheet and on some things that didn't show up on the stat sheet, like handling bad moments. We were up 19 at one point, and we had some things not go our way. And can you respond to those bad moments as quickly as possible? I think has a lot to do with your win, sometimes more than just making shots.
Right.
So I do think you put the focus on your team and the habits you work on every day and the responses you're going to have to the adversity in the game.
Let's get into some of your specific players, and again, not to focus on any one player, but just to get your thoughts on how they have progressed during the season. I personally, again, calling all of the home conference games, I have certainly seen a progression on the part of the team as a whole, and certainly some of the individual players. You've got some, you can tell, real generals, if you will, on the court, at least from my perspective. Maybe I'm just not reading things right, but Kenai Johnson, for example. I mean, he is just a freshman point guard. He's from right here in the Tullahoma area, so he's playing at home. But Kenai, man, he really seems to be one of those players, as you mentioned, that maybe on the stat sheet doesn't explode at you, but there's more than just stats with that young man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's an absolute winner. He comes from a great program, him and Xavier from Tullahoma High School with Coach Jason Welch, who does a great job. But, I mean, yeah, Kenai was leading our huddle last night. I mean, I'm standing over the side like one of the guys. We had him with the board and the marker, and to do that at 18 years old with your peers is incredible. Like he's a leader. He's an everyday guy. He really gets after people on the defensive end. He's more about the team than he is himself. And he could be more selfish if he wanted to, but he has put the team before himself, which guys respect that. And he is ultra tough. I mean, he may only be 6'1". He's athletic. He's strong.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really get too emotional, too high or too low. So just that steady consistency really helps, our attitude on the floor and off the floor. But yeah, he brings a lot of lead by example with our team.
Yeah, and it certainly comes across. In terms of height, you do have some height on your team, and I notice at times you tend to sub height for height. Of course, when we talk about height, my goodness, you look at your bench, and there's a guy that kind of stands out in that height department, and that would be Sanya Osenyu. Now, Sanya from Senegal,
correct,
a long way from home, coming in at 6'11". But okay, yeah, he's got that inside game, but he's got a nice touch from the outside as well.
And most people don't know. I mean, he's incredibly skilled. And he's he's young in his basketball career. He's really only played organized basketball for 3 years.
Wow.
And he's another guy that he's from Senegal, but he played at Georgia Junior College. So we had some roots there. But, he's tough. He ain't missed a day of practice. He hasn't missed one day. He puts the work in. But, yeah, he's very skilled. He cleans up a lot of stuff off the glass for us. He can definitely score it, makes his free throws, and then things that don't show up on the stat sheet. When we are good defensively, a lot of times we make mistakes, and he cleans up those mistakes, not just by blocks, by just taking up space in there and altering a lot of shots that makes those percentages go down when he's in the game. So he just affects it in so many ways. And he is an incredible teammate. He's out there. He got in foul trouble last night, and you can see him out on the floor just clapping and cheering, his backup on. So he is a heart and soul of our team for sure.
And again, as you mentioned, I'm guessing you found him in Georgia, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, played against him, unfortunately. Yeah, we scrimmaged them, and he was pretty good. So
yeah, no doubt. Now, another Georgia product. I know we're kind of talking about Georgia boys here, but Colton Wilbanks, another sophomore that does seem to come through with a lot of passion, a lot of grit, a lot of hustle. Of course, all your guys hustle, but Colton really seems to have progressed quite a bit as the season has progressed.
Yes, and Colton honestly comes in as one of the most decorated guys on our team. Our strength is in numbers. We don't have a guy, if you look at our stats, that jumps off at like 17 or 18 a game. It's our best games. We have 6 guys in double figures. He could have a lot more. He led the entire state of Georgia in scoring in high school. He came from a Division II and shorter university where he started as a freshman. He just played so incredibly hard. He's very athletic. He can shoot from outside. He grabs every 50-50 ball. He doesn't know any other way. Speedy Gonzalez, man. He didn't know any other way than sometimes you have to tell him to pump the brakes. But, yeah, he does a lot for us. Another great, incredible teammate. Played for a good program. A friend of mine, Jamie Brooks, and then him, Tayden, and Josh Griffith all played for the same AAU coach, Coach Jordan with Hoop Atlanta, that has done a really good job with those guys. So, he has added another layer to our team.
In terms of the guys that are kind of your outside perimeter scorers, a couple of real talented freshmen really jump out at me. That would be J.B. Snipe, Tarika Stevens. Now, Stevens, he's a foot taller than I am, but I probably weigh twice as much as he does.
Yes.
He's a wiry, thin young man, but so agile and so lightning quick. Yeah. And boy, when he gets warmed up, he can really pop that outside shot.
Yeah, both those guys are West Tennessee guys that Coach Porter and Coach Fanning built a relationship first, but I have absolutely enjoyed just getting to coach those guys. And most people don't know, and we don't whine and cry about it because nobody would care. We've had 4 season-ending injuries, and quite frankly, we didn't think as many of these freshmen would play, and it's just been really fun to watch those guys really grow. You know, JB specifically was, really decorated in high school, made, 70-plus threes in his senior year, and they've always been good enough, but to watch them make the progression of what's required in college to produce at that level, and to see them see the fruits of their labor is really cool. And then you're right, Tariq, we call him Reek. He just brings energy. He does a lot. We call him, a Swiss Army knife. He's whatever the team needs. He can go. Last night, he's guarding the point guard. We've had nights where he goes and guards the best big man. He's usually a guy that leads us in deflections. He is not quiet. He's going to be loud.
Yeah,
and he despises
that.
losing, so he just brings that edge and that want to win and do what the team needs, when he's in there.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned JB Snipe. I've been having fun calling him the sniper whenever he pops that three-point shot. He's one of the leaders in the TCCAA and three-point percentage. I believe he's at 43% from the three-point line this year. And he, too, shows a lot of grit out there on the court.
Oh, yeah. He's a get-after-it guy. Like, he loves to compete. Him and his teammates, they jaw at each other with fun, in practice to try and make each other better. But he's one of the best shooters in the league for sure, if not the country, if he wants to be. And he can really get it going, which he did last night. Last night we were missing Xavier Farrell, who is another really talented freshman that is one of our better outside threats, and we were without him last night, and JB stepped it up like he always does. He is a guy that can get it going, and when one goes in, that rim can get this big, and we need him to do that for our team.
Right. And also to kind of touch upon perhaps the last individual player I'll bring up here, and we've seen him more here later in the season, and that's Trey Terry, who oftentimes is the smallest guy on the floor, but boy, he doesn't play like it. No. He'll get in and scrap under the rim. He is lightning fast. I get a kick out of watching the defense try to keep up with him as he flies down the court.
Yeah, there won't be a faster guy with the ball that most people will see all year long. And it's, again, just fun to watch guys progress. He's another local product from right around here in McMinnville. He was at Bryan College, has had kind of an interesting path. And he wasn't a guy that when we brought in, was like, you're going to play hardly at all. We'll give you a chance. And if you sit around and pout about those things, when your opportunity finally comes, you're usually not ready for it. And Trey was just ready for it. And he's given us a jab. We do scouting reports, and the dude is sitting on the front, and he's got his written down. Right. He's totally invested in the team. Him and Bryson Johnson both have just kind of taken another layer of trying to make that commitment to the team. So, yeah, he's really quick. His progression was, all right, you're quick. Can you make the right decisions with that quickness, right? And that's been his growth is, I can go by any guy anytime I want, but, knowledge versus wisdom, he knows what he could do, but like wisdom is when to use it and what time on the floor to do that and manage the game as a point guard. And he's grown to that area. He's always been talented. He put some huge numbers up, in McMinnville over there under another great coach over there. So, Trey's stepped it up, which, again, we're strength in numbers. We could play 11 or 12 guys that are all, very, it's not highs and lows. So that really that helps our depth, which I think can help us in the tournament. Yeah,
and I do want to touch upon the tournament here in just a bit. Now, again, as we sit here today, you are 9-6 in the conference, I believe, which is a marked improvement from last year. You've really started to create, I believe, something special here. One of the things I do want to just to give you my observations, like they really mean anything, but just noticing from kind of the beginning of the season to as we start to wind down the regular season here, is the basketball IQ of your players. You've got athletic guys, but you can really tell that you've got a number of players. They really know what to do and when to do it.
Yeah, again, with a young team, you can finger point and yell and tell and all that stuff, which we do, but they have to grow and arrive at, like, I need this stuff. We have a phrase that we say, like, sometimes they need to know the house is on fire before they'll ask for the water, So we've had those moments in our season where we have had to learn, and we've watched so much film, and to the guys' credit, they are not wanting to be right, they're wanting to be better, and they're growing because of it. And that's all on them. They have created a culture of growth and learning, and toughness, that I think beyond talent, will serve them this year and next year, and hopefully at the 4-year programs that they go to. But yeah, they're growing. We still make plenty of mistakes. We just want to have elite mistake responses and come in here and get better.
Well, again, we can't talk about this season without at least acknowledging what thus far has been your marquee victory over at the time and previously undefeated Walters State team. That had to have really kicked your confidence level up for your players and the coaches and yourself, I'm sure. While you can't gloat on it for too long, I mean, it still was quite a milestone for you this season.
It was definitely we don't want it to be the highlight of the year.
Sure.
We would like to have some more, but man, what a cool moment that our kids will remember for the rest of their lives. I hope it was fun, and Coach Nichols, I've known him a long time, and he does an unbelievable job.
Every year, man. He just reloads.
He reloads. He coaches them hard. He fights for our league. He's a good coach. So to be able to go up against the best and prove that, we belong and that we can compete with anybody in this league is great. Now, the difference is we've got to prove that we can beat that team and be consistent with it, and that's part of youth and growth. But yeah, that is, you look back to learn. You don't linger on it. We don't throw a parade when we win, and we don't throw a funeral when we lose. We come back in here and we get better, and we want to, by the time we get to that tournament, be playing our best basketball. And again, we look back on those things of, hey, man, we've had these moments where we've beaten the best. We've had these moments where we did these habits that attributed to losing. Let's be this over here more, So, yeah, that was great, and that's a reminder to us that we can accomplish anything we want to.
And I guess as a coach, oftentimes you have to remind yourself, you're dealing with 18, 19, perhaps 20-year-old guys. It's a learning experience not only on the court but off the court as well.
Right. Yeah. No, my dad's an assistant pastor. He coaches as well. His favorite Bible verse is, where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but great strength comes from the ox. Well, to get real simple, anytime, the ox, you have to clean his crib, there's poop in there, man. But great strength comes from the ox. Anytime you deal with people, there's just going to be problems and learning and fire, but that means there's things happening. If you don't want any problems, don't deal with people. Go sell ice cream, whatever. But so yeah, there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of growth, But I think that's what makes it fun and makes it worth it, and makes you feel like you're doing, like you have a purpose, to start at this and then end up by here. Success is not a straight ladder. It's a yo-yo on a staircase. A lot of highs and lows, but we constantly want to be moving up.
Well, and in my eyes, you guys are certainly moving up in terms of performance and progression. We're getting close to tournament time. Volunteer State, the host for the TCCAA basketball tournament in, I believe it's that first week of March. I'll be there to help on the calls for that. Now, again, is evidenced by what happened last year at the tournament. You had a first-year program, Pellissippi State, 7 seed in the men's side of things, ended up in the championship game. So the old cliche, anything can happen in a tournament, that is certainly the case.
Absolutely.
So do you specifically prepare for a tournament, or you just prepare your guys to go play ball?
Yeah, I think you address, in my opinion, their mind is on, I want to go to Hutch, and well, guys, we just got to be on the play we're on. Not even the game we're on, the play we're on, and be very present in what needs to happen and be ready to be flexible and make adjustments and deal with bad calls or missed shots. And, we just got to win that play we're on. So, no, we don't really talk about our seed won't matter. And I think it stinks it's this way, but you could win the regular season in our league, and it hasn't. I think if for some reason Walters doesn't win it, they should for sure go to the national tournament. But that's a hard, like, they don't do that. So it's all about the tournament anyway. So whoever you're playing, you're going to have to beat anyway. You're going to have to play anyway. So I don't really care what side. I want to win as many games as we can, but, like, do I want to be on this side or that? I don't care. We got to play them all to go win anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, just go win that game. Go win that play, man. So.
Well, during last season's tournament, which we at the Game Time Sports Network had the pleasure and the honor of covering, that was at Southwest Tennessee. Walters State had the best record, but Columbia State won that tournament.
Right.
And
great coach,
and speaking of a great program, yes, Jerry Nichols and Walters State, always class program, but Winston Neal over at Columbia State,
yes,
he has, of course, he's just a class man, a better man than a coach, and that's saying something. But from you, again, let's be real, you're a young coach, and just getting into the TCCAA, but, you've got quite a bit of experience out there. But as you face these stellar programs, I'm sure that is something that really, in many ways, acts as a role model for you and a blueprint of sorts to aspire to get the Bucks where they are spoken of in those terms.
Yeah, I definitely have respect for those guys, Jerry and Winston both. I've recruited guys of theirs, both as an assistant and a head coach at the 4-year level. I wouldn't say that we want to be them. I want to aspire to be in the conversation of where they've done a good job of. We want to make our own blueprint of success here at Motlow. And I'll be the first to say Motlow is not a stranger to success. If you go back and look at the history, Jerry Nichols himself was here.
Right.
J.T. Burton, Coach Sly, Coach Art Latham, they've all had some success here, and we want to get the program back to that level of and higher of success, both on and off the floor. And, and every job's different, man. I've worked at D2s and NAIs and high schools and JUCOs, and, there's levels to everything. You got to figure out what works at your program to win. You can't talk about the problems that you have or they got this and I don't have this. Man, what do you have that makes you special, and how can you beat those guys? Because I'm not going to go in there and be, they got it, man, I don't understand, I can't get as good as. No, we want better players than they have. We want better things than they do, but you got to work for it.
Yeah. Well, man, it's that attitude that I'm sure will get you there, man. And you have just made great strides here this year. I know you've got to be proud, but there's more work to do. Things are certainly not finished by any means.
No.
Again, we're talking with Coach Justin Newton, the head coach for Motlow State men's basketball. We'll be chatting with Coach Newton again here soon as we continue to explore their journey through this TCCAA conference and then dealing with the tournament here coming up in early March. Coach, it's been a blast covering your team. It's been a blast getting to know you a bit and watching you and how you interact with your guys on the sideline. I can tell they really respect you, and that shows in how they act on the court. I know it sounds silly, but I run into your players in the hall or in the men's room or something, and it's yes sir, no sir, how are you? I mean, you ought to be proud of your guys on so many levels.
I am, and we're really, really thankful that you've chosen to be here with us and put a spotlight on our program. And we got a lot of guys that don't live here, so them being able to live stream and have a quality product of a guy that cares to showcase our program has been great. So we're really thankful for you.
Man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. All right. Thank you, Coach. Again, we'll be chatting with you soon. Coach Justin Newton, Motlow State head coach. I'm Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network.
That's a wrap, folks. What a ride. This has been the Justin Newton Show on the Game Time Sports Network with Jay Harper. Catch your breath, then join us next time for an explosive episode.